you're having it. Let me say this, there are people who have it worse than you guys.
Yep.
Man. We don't realize it, we don't know it, but there it is. Okay, Rosa, we're going to try. And if I mess up, it ain't her fault. Once again, I face Satan this morning, and I battled him all the day long. But in my weakness, God set reinforcement.
Amen.
And at sundown, I'll sing victory song. And the sun's coming up in the morning. Every tear will be gone from my eyes. This old place gonna give way to victory. And like an eagle, I'll take to the sky. In a world filled with doubts and confusion, it's so hard when you don't understand. Oh, but I'm standing on a solid foundation, and I'm held by an unchanging hand. And the sun's coming up in the morning. Every tear will be gone from my eyes. This old place gonna give way to glory. And like an eagle, I'll take to the sky. And the sun's coming up in the morning. Every tear will be gone from my eyes. This old place gonna give way to victory. And like an eagle, I'll take to the skies. And like an eagle, I'll take to the skies. We'll let the children go to youth church now, and I trust that I know they'll have be a blessing. My wife got some paddles together this morning, so I don't know whether you ought to be down there or not. Turn with me this morning in your Bibles to Proverbs chapter 4. Proverbs chapter 4. Proverbs chapter 4. The book of Proverbs was written by the smartest man that ever lived, the richest man that ever lived, the most powerful human being that ever lived on this earth. More powerful than Gates, more powerful than many of the other financiers, multi-billionaires. This man was more powerful. He was a ruler of his world of that day. And he wrote the book of Proverbs. There are 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs. I read the book of Proverbs through every month. I read a chapter every day. There's one for every day. By the way, there's a verse in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, there's about 2 verses there together that I call my Wile E. Coyote verses. And they're there. I want you to read through the book of Proverbs, see if you can find them. I'm not going to tell you what they are. See if you find it yourself. But it's Wile E. Coyote and whatever that. I don't think this is that skinny thing he's chasing. Roadrunner had a particular name, but anyway, there's something wonderful in the book of Proverbs that you can lay hold of. They are beneficial for the day in which we live. They are helpful for young people. They're helpful for older people as well. Now, what we're going to talk about this morning is the most important. I want everybody to look right here at me. Okay, this is the most important thing in your life. If I were to ask you this morning, what is the most important thing in your life? If you have children, I know that you're going to say children. If you have grandchildren, I know you're going to say grandchildren. Okay? I know you're going to say a lot of different things, and they are important. But did you know this? This is more important than children, grandchildren, anything on the face of this earth, what I'm going to talk about this morning. Now, you pray for me that God will give me wisdom to know how to tell you what He's told me, okay? Because sometimes in the translation, He's really clear what He wants, but, you know, He gets a hold of me and I get it all messed up. I'm getting to where I don't remember a lot of things. Thank God. Amen. Thank God. My wife said, you can't hear. All men and all women have selective hearing. Amen. We all have selective hearing. We hear what we want to hear, when we want to hear, when we want to hear. You know that? We really do. In Proverbs chapter 4, this wise man, this rich man, this all-powerful man, this man, his name was Solomon, and he said this in verse number 23. He said, well, let's start at verse 20. My son, attend to my word. He's speaking to his son. And he's speaking to the individuals that are following him, that are going to come behind him. And, you know, I just had a birthday yesterday. And by the way, thank you for all the wonderful birthday wishes and everything. It was grand. It was a blessing. I really praise the Lord for it. But the thing that I want you to see here, he's talking to his family. And he's saying to his young son, he's saying this, my son, attend to my word. Incline or watch your head, watch what you're doing. Incline thine ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. Underline the word heart. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. How many of you want to be healthy as long as you live? How many of you just like to be walking along when it comes your time to die, you just whoop? How many of you like to do that? How many of you, by the way, you quit taking that insulin and you won't be as sweet as you once was. So you're going to get sour. No, I was just thinking. Anyway, that's a wonderful mark that you've attained to. Tell me how you do it. Okay, he always does that. I don't know whether he's trying to work his arm. I think he's trying to give God the glory. But what was I saying? I told you I forgot that. But here we find Solomon, this richest man, wisest man. All of us want to be healthy. Does anybody here want to go to the hospital today? Suffering pain? All of us want to be healthy, right? We want to be healthy. If you want to be healthy the rest of your life, do this. All right. Now I know your head's working. I know your ears are working. Because if you hadn't heard me, you would not have done this. Okay? For he said, look at verse 22. Now, this is all we need to know. We don't need a flash from heaven. We don't need an angel to come down and fly over our beds and tell us that this is what we need. We don't have to have some special word from God. Amen? Is this thing on fine? Okay, let me do it again. All right. Hold on. All right. It's all down. We don't need anything, any further information from God. If you went to the doctor tomorrow and he said, I'm going to give you 3 things, you do these 3 things and you'll be healthy till the day you die and you won't suffer any pain at all in the process of dying. You'll just, poof, you're gone. I guarantee you, most of us in this building this morning would try to do those 3 things. Solomon is saying, okay, I'm going to tell you what you do to be healthy for the rest of your life. He said, verse 23, and this is key. Keep thy heart, that's the word heart, underline that again, with all diligence. For out of it are the issues of life. Put away from thee a forward mouth and perverse lip, put far from thee. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand, nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. Father, in Jesus' name, speak to our hearts this morning. Through Lord Jesus, speak to our hearts. In his name we pray. Amen. Amen. I want to speak to you this morning on heart health. Heart health. Did you know this? The word heart appears 800 times in the Bible. 600 times in the Old Testament, 200 times in the New Testament. The word heart. Now, when I say the word heart, what do you think about? That's your blood pump. That's not what Solomon is talking about. After all, the young men, these young ladies, and they court each other for a while, and finally the young man says, I love you with all my heart. Is he talking about his blood pump? Now, wouldn't it be something if he told her, I love you with all my blood pump? Wouldn't that be romantic? Wouldn't a girl want to jump on that? I mean, just take that person right up front. Did you know this? Out of the 800 times that the Bible uses the word heart, it never, ever uses the word that refers to the organ of the blood that pumps the blood through your body. So the Bible says this in verse 23, keep thy heart with all diligence. Why? For out of it, out of what? Out of what? Tell me. Your heart. Out of the heart are the issues, not just a few issues, but all issues of what? Life. So every person in this building this morning and every person on the face of this earth that is alive is carrying around with them, in them, an instrument out of which proceeds every issue of life that they will face. Out of the heart proceeds the issues of life. Did you know this? Nobody's just going to look up on and be successful. Luck don't bring many successful people. You know why? Because success is a learned trait. Luck just don't bring about a good life. The Bible tells us in the book of Proverbs, if you have a good home, someone in the congregation this morning was sharing with me how some children that they just come in acquaintance with have lived in a terrible, terrible situation. You just don't have a good home by luck. There are some things that goes in to make it that way. And those things that you go in, the Bible tells us, by the way, in the book of Proverbs, that it's a wonderful thing when a house is filled with great treasures. And by the way, your great treasures at your house is not those things that you got sitting on the shelves in your drawer. Did you know that? Because all those could be taken away in a heartbeat. But the things that are at your house and in your custody, or your children, your family, your in-law, your in-law, all of those things, to your acquaintance, your friends, those are treasures that you have. You may be the brokest guy on the street, but if you got good friends, you know where to get along. Amen. So you're walking around, you're sitting in this building this morning with a piece of equipment inserted in your body that God says is that He wants you to protect and look after and guard it, because out of that one thing issues all of the issues of life. And that's your heart. So now, when the Bible uses the word heart, if it's not talking about your blood pump, what's it talking about? It's talking about your conscience. It's talking about your will. It's talking about your attitudes. It's talking about those unseen parts of you that nobody else can touch except what you allow to touch. It's your heart. We cut a piece of wood and cut a tree, and we go into that tree and that piece of wood, and in that piece of wood we say we go down to the heart. That means we're right in the center of it, right? The heart of it is right in the center. Okay, right in the center of you is not, your center is not here. But did you know this in the Hebrew? Actually, the center of an individual was not the brain. It was not the blood pump, but it was their belly. My center is pretty big. I got a big center. And I am a big sinner for eating all that I eat. But here's the deal. If a young Jewish boy sent a Jewish girl a Valentine, he didn't send a Valentine. By the way, what do you put on most Valentines? The shape of a heart. Did you know your heart doesn't look like that we say it does? It doesn't look like that at all. Even your blood pump. But if a Jewish boy sent a Valentine to a girl, he would send a picture of a belly or a liver. And it would have all kinds of things decorated. You know why? Because he was sending the very innermost person of who he was. We don't hardly ever really see the real you. In Alaska, there is one mountain there that's 1,500 feet, 15,000 feet tall, and it's called Fairweather Mountain. And you only can see this mountain about 20 days a year. All the other days you can't even see it because it's engulfed in a cloud of fog. And it is so because of the ice and the glacier content that is there. And when the atmosphere forms, the air, the hot air, the warm air, and all of that forms, and it begins to ascend, then it covers this mountain with a very dense fog. Every now and then, about 20 days, I said a year, you'll be able to see that mountain and the beauties of that mountain. But the rest of the time, it is engulfed in fog that you can't see it. That's about the way our spiritual life is. About 20 days a year, we really get to see who we really are. It really comes out. It really makes itself come out. We really see who we really are. Sounds like your life. Because you see, out of our life and out in our life, there are issues every day of our life. Issues that we have to deal with. And sometimes, quite honestly, I feel like I'm in a fog. I wonder where I'm at, what's going on, what's happening. Is this ever going to change? Is there ever going to be a sunrise? Is there ever going to be a time when I can look at life and say, it's wonderful? Most of the time, if you're like me, you have a pretty good day and then you'll have 5 bad ones. Anybody in here like that? You know, they just seem to come in numbers. And here this guy is, the wisest man, the richest man, the most powerful man, telling me to guard my heart, for out of it are the issues of life. Hey, how do I do it? What is this about? As I told you a moment ago, it's not your physical body, organ. It's not, your heart's not to your, it's not your physical organ. Secondly, it responds to or is shaped by what it's exposed to. This heart that I'm talking about is shaped by what it is exposed to and what it responds to. And I'm going to give you some scripture, and I want you to follow me in the Bible and see what the Bible has to say about it. Turn with me to Mark chapter 12, verse 30. There's one verse there. And then we'll look at some more. Mark 12 and verse number 30. We're talking about the heart, and we're talking about what shapes it. Listen to what God says, the great commandment is. Jesus answered this lawyer, this guy, a scribe and lawyer came and asked him, which is the first commandment of all? Or that's like saying, what's the biggest one? What is the biggie? What's the most important commandment of all? And Jesus answered and said this is it. The first of all commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And, listen to this, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy, what does it say? Heart. Is he talking about blood pump? No. So what is he talking about? How can I love God with all my heart when I don't even know what it is? How can Jesus, we talk about people getting saved and Jesus comes living in people's hearts. Sometimes kids have the idea that there's a door on the heart, on people's hearts, and Jesus just opens that door and goes in there. We invite, no, that's not it. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something more important than that. So he said, you love God with all your heart and with with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. This is the command, first command. I want you to see the last three things there. And with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. That's your heart. That defines part of your heart. Your heart is your soul, your strength, and your mind. It's remarkable how many people Jesus has got into their thoughts, but he's never got into their heart. There's a lot of people who have a head knowledge of Jesus, but they don't have a heart knowledge of him. And I'm not talking about your organ that pumps your blood. It doesn't know anything to do with just to stay in your chest and beat and pump the blood through your body, so the rest of your body can live. So there's no way that that organ can love God with all its mind, with all its strength, with all its heart. It's a different thing. Turn to Matthew chapter 15. I'm sure there's something else here. That's really, it's startling when you look at it. Matthew chapter 15, verse 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Verse 15 says this. Jesus had told them a parable, and then Peter said, declare unto us this parable. Explain this parable to us. Show us what this parable means. And he said, okay, are you also without understanding? Do you not understand what I'm telling you? Look at verse 17. Do you not understand that whatsoever entereth in as a mouth goeth into the what? When you put food in your mouth, it goes into your mouth. Where did I say your heart most of the time resides? Because that's the center of your emotions, your intellect, your will, all of that makes up the heart. God wants to get in your mind. He wants to get in your attitude. He wants to get in your outlook. He wants to get in your speech. He wants to get in what you hear. He wants to get in what you feel. He wants to get in what motivates you. He wants to be part of that. And if you don't let God get into that, you are not loving God with all your mind, soul, body, and spirit. Now listen to what he said. Whatsoever in as the mouth goes into the belly, and is cast out into the draw, the waste. It's not needed for the body. It becomes waste. But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from what? The heart. When a man stands up and blasphemes God and curses God, big long curse sentence like this, uses old filthy vile language, and tells old filthy dirty jokes, and cusses people out. We call it cursing and cussing. It's cussing. You know where that's coming from? Coming out of your heart. The Bible says, for out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And that's what you are. That means, if that's in there, then that means God ain't. Amen? Because God's not going to dwell where sin dwells. God's not going to live where sin lives. God's not going to stay where sin is permitted to stay. He's just not going to do that. Now notice what he said. He said, for out of the heart proceedeth evil thoughts, murder, adulteries, fornication, theft, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defile the Son of Man. See, that's all over Jesus about his disciples didn't wash their hands ceremonially before they ate. And they were just racking him good about that. But Jesus said, I'm going to tell you what, that's not what defiles a man. What defiles a man is what comes out of that man. And that proceeds out of his heart. And if there are murders and thieves and adulteries and fornication and all theft and all of that in there, then the Lord is not in there. Amen? I'll tell you what the Bible says. Luke chapter 12. Luke chapter 12. Jesus said a lot about this particular thing. Luke chapter 12. I got to hurry if you get out before. Luke chapter 12, verse 34 says this. For where your treasure is. What does that rest of it say?
Heart is also.
Verse 34 of chapter 12 of Luke. For where your treasure is, there will be your heart will be also. You know this? What you value the most, that becomes your heart. And what your main pursuit in life is, then that becomes your treasure, and that's proceeding out of your heart. One more verse. You see, it's interesting. It would be very, very dramatic. Could other people see our heart? If you could look into people's inner being and see their heart, if you could see what they're thinking, if you could see what's driving them deep down, if you could really see that, it would be so embarrassing. Have you ever got this kind of signal while you're driving on the road? Have you ever got that kind of signal from somebody else? I'm sure what they're thinking, and if you could see in their mind, they're saying, God bless you, you're a wonderful person. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure that's what they're saying. Right? If you could see what they are really thinking about you on the inside. Let me say this. You can't see it, but God can. God can, and God does. So, you may give it this signal. They may not be seeing what's going on in your heart, what's issuing from your heart, but God sees what's issuing from your heart. Anybody ever been there? Seems like I'm talking Vicky this morning. I think I go there every day, Vicky. Now, quickly. Can you see how important this is? If every move I make in the day, every day of my life, if every thought I think, if every word I say, if every issue that touches my life on any given day is this important to me, don't you think we ought to know how to guard our heart? We guard everything. Did you know that? I bet you most everybody in this building this morning, if you have a home, you have. What's the last thing you do before you leave? Lock the door. Set the alarm. What? You want to protect. When's the last time you locked your heart? When's the last time you set the alarm on your heart? When's the last time that you did that to keep in it? Because the Bible says keep. That word keep means that you set up a guard, that you station a defense there. So now what do we do to do that? How do we protect our heart? Let me give it to you real quick. First of all, recognize that this is a treasure that you have, and you can never get another one, and no one can ever take it from you. But anyone and everyone can pollute it and use it. You see, if I don't put a lock on my doors and I don't lock that door, anybody in town can go in. And believe you me, they will. Someone said, do y'all have neighborhood watch in your place? I said, yeah, my neighbors watch us leave, and then they go out and get my stuff. That's neighborhood watch. But here's the deal. There are forces that are watching your heart, and they want your heart. They want your heart. Why? Because out of it are the issues of life. You want to be happy? Then control your heart. You want to be successful? Control your heart. You want to be nice to people? Control your heart. You want to have people like you? Control your heart. You want friends? Control your heart. You can't buy friendship. You can't buy health. You can't purchase. All the money in the world can't buy you one more day on this earth. When it's your time to go. But I'm going to tell you this. What I'm talking about this morning can buy you a bunch of days. Because you ignore this. You ignore making sure your heart is kept right before God. Now, I guarantee you, you're going to have problems through your life. You're going to have misery through your life. Number one, recognize it as a treasure. It controls everything about your life. It controls your mind. It controls your eyes. It controls your feet. It controls your heartbeat. It controls everything about you. I wrote this down. It's not what goes in, but what happens when it gets in and comes out. Amen. It's not what goes in your heart, but once it gets inside, what happens to it on the inside of your heart, and then what comes out of it. But may I quickly say this, you must not continue to allow all this stuff to go in that's bad. I read this the other day, and this was amazing to me. We have one of the most powerful submarine fleets in the world. But did you know the most powerful submarine that we have in our arsenal can only stay underwater for 90 days at a time? And the reason they can is because they have on board missiles that can destroy, of mass destruction. But those missiles are directed by directional technology. They can pinpoint those missiles to, in a group of 1,000 houses. They can pinpoint one house in the middle of those 1,000 and destroy that house almost without bothering any of the others. But if they stay under the water longer than 90 days, the gravitational pulls of the earth work havoc in those high-tech controls. And if they were to stay underwater longer than 90 days, if they were to fire missiles, they don't know where it's going to. Iraq or Iran, it may go to Alaska, it may go to Mississippi. And every 90 days, now get this, every 90 days they surface and they refocus those instruments on one permanent fixed thing that's on this earth, and that's the North Star. They must be able to maintain pure north direction. In other words, while they're underwater, they're guided. But the one thing that causes their guiding systems to function is out on in the sky. Now, I'm going to say this is what I'm saying. How long has it been since you surfaced and refocused your heart on the one fixed thing that will keep your direction going straight? And you know what that one point is? That's the Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen. Preach, brother. Amen.
It's not all about you. It's not about your job. It's not about your family. It's not about anything. You don't have, you listen, if you're worrying about those things, then those things cannot be right until this thing is right.
Yep.
What advantage does that submarine to have if it's been down now 120 days and not resurfaced? It's got all of the potential of killing everything around. It's got all the potential of great power and everything, but it can't do nothing because it is not set on true direction. And what Jesus said for you and me to do is in this life we have got to focus on those things that are tragic. You've got to let Him be the number one focus. Secondly, you must prioritize the task of guarding your heart. You have to practice spiritual discipline. May I simply say this? You cannot do everything that the world is doing. You cannot practice all kinds of sin. You cannot live in any way you want to live and have the kind of heart that I'm talking about. Paul said this, all things may be legal for me. All may be permissible to me. But he said, in order that I might please God, I'm saying no to this. There are some things we just have to say no to. No. You cannot do that. Then you have to pursue a life of surrender and just not. I hear a lot of people talking about, well, I'm committed today. Did you know the Bible never asks you to be committed to anything? Did you know that? That was a shock to me when I learned God's not interested in what I'm committed to. No. You know what God's interested in? God's interested in what I'm surrendered to. And did you know this? The only kind of surrender that God knows anything about? I just got through reading Killing the Rising Sun. Anybody ever read that book? Killing the Rising Sun. And one of the things in Japanese leadership, they had not been defeated since 1500, the early 1500s. And when the Second World War was fought, the Japanese said, we're not surrendering. And here was the word, unconditional. Our emperor is going to still be in charge of our country, blah, blah, blah. General MacArthur said the only surrender America will take is unconditional. That means you have nothing to say about it. And that's the kind of surrender that God's talking about. God wants us to be surrendered, not on this term. Lord, I'll surrender this to you, but I'm not going to surrender that. Yeah, I'm going to have this. I'm going to keep this. Nope. Ain't going to work. issues out of your heart then are going to be problems for you. Let me quickly go on. You have to minimize the trash that affects your heart. That sort of goes over to surrender. You have to minimize the trash that goes into your heart. Garbage in, garbage out. What you fill your life up with determines the condition of your heart. And if it's trash, then you're going to have trash. Issues with trash all your life. Minimize the amount of trash. What am I talking about? Trash. Immorality, unbelief, grudges, anger, materialism, pride, gossip. Any of those ring a bell? We allow that kind of stuff to harbor in our lives and go in our lives and leave the practice in our life. Our heart's going to be desperately unclean. Minimize the trash. Energize the heart with truth. Some people know the facts of the faith, but not the truth of the faith. Let me give you an example here. Faith, a fact, imparts information. And a lot of people have a lot of information about the Bible. But surrender or truth produces transformation. See, the truth, the only way that you and I will ever be transformed, as the Bible tells us we should be, is when the truth of this book gets a hold of our life. You see, you can have fact after fact after fact after fact. We give you numbers and percentages and all of that. But it's the truth. And the truth is, God expects you and me to guard our heart for out of it all the issues of life. Let me give you a fact. Let me give you this little comical thing about a fact. How many of you have, well, we all know how kissing and stuff like that. Some of you don't try to feel holy and all of that. Now, I'm going to give you a clinical definition of what kissing is. Now, I want you to see if according to this definition, if you like it as much. Now, this is the facts. People say, I just want the facts. Okay, here is the facts related to a kiss. It's and I quote, a pressing of two mandibles together, resulting in the exchange of saliva. It's about my wife wants to kiss me, and I'm on the pressing of two mandibles. What is mandible? Anybody know what mandible? I guess it is. A mouth. Pressing together, resulting in the exchange of saliva and sometimes bubblegum. Now, which definition do you like the best? Now, here's another definition. Faith Hill in the song that's titled The Kiss. It went like this. It's the way you love me. It's a feeling like this. It's centrifugal motion. It's perpetual bliss. It's that pivotal moment. It's impossible. This kiss, kiss unstoppable. This kiss. Boy, does that sound wonderful. Woo! Who was going to do that? One is the truth, the other is the fact. See, the one thing we need to realize is that facts we can learn, but truth transforms us. And the truth of this message will really be seen as it is transformed and not like transformed by life. The truth is not just a collection of flat facts. They are living, individual, or indwelling power of God. How do I keep my heart clean? How do I protect my heart? I ingest this truth. The more the truth you have, the more safeguards you set up in your life to protect your heart. Now I'm going to close with this. I'm going to ask you a question. What's in your heart today? I can't tell. You could bring the most technical, high-tech piece of equipment, X-ray equipment, MRIs in here, and they cannot tell you what's in your heart. But I guarantee you this, you know what's in your heart. And I'll guarantee you this, God knows what's in your heart. And this is the next step you're going to have to deal with. Is it clean? We've got so filthy in America. We've got so immoral in America. Clean it looks like something that's dirty. If it's so simple and easy, then do it. But any old fish can float downstream, but it takes a live wire to go against the current. What kind of a heart do you want? That's the next question. Is your heart clean? What's in your heart? Next question is, what kind of heart do you want? And number 3, do you realize this morning, as you said where you said, what kind of a heart God has for you? The one thing on God's heart was this, that He might bring you to be with Him. Whatever it costs. God couldn't be like everybody else. He couldn't be like everything else. He couldn't be like the false religions. He couldn't do that. His heart for you and me was so great and so advanced that He could not stay in heaven. His heart was so much in love with us that He could not leave us like we were, even though it would require Him to die. Now, dying was the easy part. All the other. Do you realize this? That He was shunned, He was criticized, He was called all kinds of names. He did all of that. Why? Because He had a heart for you. For you and for me. That's the kind of heart God had for us. What kind of heart do you want? The Bible says, keep the heart, keep your heart. Don't worry about the treasures on this earth. You're going to leave them in on. You didn't come in with anything, you ain't going out with it. You ain't even going to take the box you left with you. But the one thing you can do is you can keep your heart. And you have to do it. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could buy some kind of spiritual advice or device that we could attach to ourselves that would protect us from all of these bad things as Christians? Well, we can. But God does give us the source of power. He says the Holy Spirit lives within you, And he can do anything I can do. And anything I can do for you, he can do for you. And anything he can do for you, he will do for you if you'll simply surrender. It's as simple as that. Would you stand with me, please? Bow your head. Father in heaven, this morning, it's one thing for us to know facts, but there's another thing to know the truth. The truth transforms you. I pray, Lord, for my own heart. I pray that I will put up a guard and that I will be disciplined enough to not allow those things that would get inside my heart and cause me to become ineffective for Jesus Christ. Is there anybody here this morning say, preacher, I need to be like that submarine. I need to resurface and get my bearings and get everything set straight. Pray for me. Anyone like that in the building this morning? You know, it's easy to let those things get in on us, in the trash. Anyone else? Join these in the group today. I need to resurface, yes. I need to get all my instruments pointed toward Jesus and get them fixed on Him. Pray for me this morning. Anyone else? God bless you. Is there somebody else? Father in heaven, you know the need of every heart this morning. Have your will and way in these lives. Thank you for your love to us. May their hearts be refocused by your power this morning. I'm going to challenge you to do this. Could you resurface this morning with resurfacing? You expose yourself to the enemy. When a submarine resurfaces, if there's enemy in the area, it's exposed to the enemy. Would you be willing this morning just step out from where you are and come to this altar and say, Lord, I want to refocus this morning. I want to reorientate my focus so that my heart stays focused on the Lord. I want to set up a garrison this morning. I want to protect my heart. I don't want my heart to become hard. I don't want it to be stolen away and be used in a different way. So Lord, I'm coming this morning. I want to refocus. I want to surface and get this thing out here. Anyone else who come be with these? Come join these. I want to refocus. Now's the time to do it. God knows your heart. And you know your heart. If your heart was ever closer to the Lord than it is right now, you need to come. Anyone? Anyone else who'd like to come? Father, in the name of Jesus, I pray for those that are here this morning, seeking to reorient themselves, refocus themselves, get their heart in the right frame of mind, and get the heart focused on the Lord. So I ask this morning that would be the case. Help them to lay aside anything. Help them to be disciplined enough to say, whatever it takes. If it's something I don't need, then I'll give it up. If it's something that I need to stop doing, I'll stop it. If it's something I need to start doing, I'll start it. If it's something that is against me being all out for Jesus, take it away, Lord. For I surrender all. I surrender everything I am and everything I have to you. Thank you for your love. In Jesus' name, amen. We're going to meet with folks who want to be a part of the judgment house.